We are live, coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome to the first 5 years. I know, I want to do that too. Oh, that's probably really loud. Welcome to the... I guess, what's that called where you tap?
It's called a puker.
No, we're not going to do...
All right, we gotta go.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to our next interview for CCT, the first 5 years.
Yes. Hi, I'm Gail Becker.
I'm Andy Abrams, and we are the founders of Capital City Theater. And every week we are coming to you with an interview or two from shows we've done in the past with actors, directors, designers, people that have worked with us to see where they are, how they're dealing with everything. And today,
we're still doing it.
We're still doing it. And we're still here in our house.
We're still doing it.
And we have today Michele Ragusa, who was our Mama Rose in Gypsy. I'm going to bring in Michele.
It's fitting because it was recent. I don't know when this is airing, but it was recent. Oh yeah, we're live. It was recently Mother's Day, so it's perfect to have our ultimate stage mother, Michele Ragusa.
Welcome, Michele Ragusa.
Hello.
And I have to say, if you don't know Michele, she has quite the extensive resume on Broadway and all over the country doing all sorts of things. And she's, I have to just tout you for a second and just say that she's in a Broadway show right now called Flying Over Sunset at Lincoln Center. Which is, it's such an exciting idea, and of course, it's written by Tom Kitt and Michael Corey. And Tom Kitt wrote, if those of you who don't know, wrote The Last 5 Years, and
not loosely
not
based
last
on our
5 years.
program.
What am I talking about? I mean, Next to Normal as well.
I was like, what?
That's Case Normal Brown. Next to Normal.
And What If? And Free
What was
Friday.
that, Michele? Sorry, Michele, what was that?
Oh no, I was just gonna say last 5 years when it was normal. Maybe that's
right. He wrote Next to Normal, and Michael Corey actually wrote Grey Gardens and a bunch of other stuff too. They've all written other things. So what a neat combination of writers.
Oh, I know. Well, and don't forget James Lapine.
And James Lapine is directing.
Kind of a big deal.
Come on.
He wrote it and he's directing it. That's my first time working with the writer who was also the director.
Wow.
Let alone the man who wrote one of my favorite roles I ever got to play, the Witch in Into the
Witch. Sure.
I'm
Good
here with
for
them.
you.
Did it.
That's so awesome. What is the current situation with that?
Well,
is it all just, I'm sure you haven't, well, I don't know. You tell us.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's this crazy thing where we had just done our final invited dress rehearsal. So my husband and, you know, a small group of people actually saw the show because the next day was supposed to be our first preview, and that's when Broadway shut down. So initially, Lincoln Center, being Lincoln Center, they said they were hoping we were going to be back April 13th. So they deliciously paid us full salary, the whole cast. And even when we got an email on March 30th saying clearly this is not going to happen, in April, we will still honor our commitment to pay you all through the 12th. So that was lovely. And they said we are committed to opening the show in the fall. And obviously pending. But the cool thing is that Lincoln Center, it's our home. We aren't renting.
Right.
Like a lot of other shows, you know, I know you know what I mean. You know, we're not renting a theater to have our show in. So that is our home. There's nothing slated to come in. And Andre Bishop, this is really a love piece for him. You know, he and James have been friends for years, and he is so supportive of this work. And, you know, yes, Broadway has changed a bit, but I think only at Lincoln Center would you be doing a musical about some famous people on an LSD trip.
I was just going to say, can you give us like the elevator speech of a little bit about what it is? Because of course it's so brand new.
Yeah, brand new. So it's Aldous Huxley, Clare, Boothe, Luce, Cary Grant. And Gerald Hurd, when they all had a meeting of the minds in California at Clare's estate. And basically it's wanting to open up and explore a part of yourself that you may have had locked, that you maybe didn't want to explore, but you may now explore. It is how LSD can keep you open when in many instances as human beings, we will refuse that for whatever reason. And it's also really cool that the only time there is music is when they are on their trip. So that's when the singing and the music happens.
You know, that's like, that's just like, what do you call it? The show that, oh my gosh, Saga of Jenny. What's it called? What's the show Saga of Jenny that the
Kurt Weill show?
Kurt Weill wrote. What's that called? What's that show called?
With Mac the Knife and.
Nope, that's Threepenny. This is Tale of Jenny, Saga of Jenny.
Right.
Oh, good, you guys.
Oh
not
my gosh.
Street Scene. It's not all that.
The reason that I bring it up is because that whole show is about a woman in a therapist's office, and the only time it's musicalized is when she's off in her thoughts.
We'll ask our viewers to chime in about that. What's that show, everybody?
It's gonna pop into my head at some point.
Wasn't there a Barbara Streisand the movie? And Harry Connick Jr. You guys, we are all having total. You know, the guy, the actor.
The guy and the thing and the show.
If this would have been during like cocktail hour, we would have known all these answers.
God. Everyone's going to want to play Trivial Pursuit with me for money.
I know, right? Yeah.
Seriously.
Nothing.
Awesome. Oh crap! I don't know.
I even talk about that show in my musical theater history lecture that I do. Oh, it's embarrassing. Anyway, that's such a cool idea, and I'm excited to come and see it. And and we wanna like pull us back in time for a minute here and just talk for a second about Gypsy, because we had a lot of people that really loved and enjoyed that show, and we're going to be talking to Sarah O'Connor later in the week.
Yes,
one of your daughters. And what was one of your favorite memories or funny memories, I could also say, of doing that production with us?
Well, you know, that, first of all, that was will remain one of the highlights of my life, to actually perform that with that orchestra. I mean, that was, and one little tiny highlight was, it wasn't even when I was on stage. I was off stage, right? It was in Act 2, and I can't remember which the number was, but I was by the string section and able to hear the string part sitting right there. It was heaven. You know, I think one of the funniest things actually was, you know, this is a book in hand concert that we were doing, and I was doing another show at the time. So I flew in, I had a rehearsal, I flew back and did my show, and then I came back and we did the final rehearsals and then the performances. In that interim, when I flew back to do my other show that I was doing, apparently there was a decision made that no one was going to hold their books, and no one told me.
Oops.
So I got back, we literally had like 3 rehearsals left. I thought, why isn't anyone holding the script?
I've never seen a show get put up that fast.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. And I do remember the whole scene in the dressing room, you know, that crazy long scene. I had pieces of paper with the dialogue taped to the tape.
I didn't know that.
Because I didn't want to skip anything. I didn't want to miss anything. So I had pieces of paper, all over the.
We should also mention that our own Gail Becker was Mazeppa in that production. So we were on stage with Michelle.
Oh
my skirt fell off at the end of my number in that one show.
But you played the trumpet.
I did, and I bumped it.
Oh, wonderfully, terribly.
Oh, you did it. I mean, that is a tall order.
Yeah,
sure is. It's so funny because one of my favorite memories of that show, Michelle, is when you turned to me and you said, "It's the MGM." You called it the MGM Philharmonic, or something like that. It was hysterical, and I'll never forget that. I don't know.
Oh my God! I just remember the final orchestra rehearsal that we had, and we were doing Rose's Turn, and I walked up to come down stage for that big moment. And I just remember going up and seeing you and seeing all of the orchestra, and I I thought, whose life is this? Whose life is this? This is my life. What?
Yeah. I felt the same way in that show.
Really? I mean, it's like that score. Come on.
I know.
What do you remember most about Madison, like outside the theater?
The time that you had.
Yeah, with the tiny amount of time that you have, were you able to enjoy parts of Madison or something you remembered?
I did. I was staying in that darling little house. And I remember your company manager giving me fresh eggs from her chickens.
Oh, that was Meg Stevens.
And I remember being so horrified because there was no cable in the house. And I was like, what? Like, I can't watch TV. What? But what happened was that then forced me to have my morning coffee on the sun porch, and I would play their CD player. There were some CDs that they had, and I would just kind of wake up that way. No news, no nothing. I just got to do that. I also found a delicious dress shop, and I think I dropped $800 in there.
Oh my God.
He was in Hilldale.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and all the cheese curds in the grocery store.
Welcome to Wisconsin.
Here we are. We all love our curds.
Did you get to go anywhere, like, to see anything except the grocery store while you were here?
You're right.
That would be a no. I didn't. Let's see. We went to some restaurants, like, on the dinner break, and I think we went out and had a glass of wine or something some night afterwards.
Probably.
I just remember the facility being beautiful.
Yeah.
Where we did the dressing room.
Capitol Theater.
Yeah, that theater was so perfect for that show.
So perfect. And I really, the local talent there was so nice. I'm still friends on Facebook with, a number of the people from the cast. They were very welcoming, very talented. It was just a fantastic experience.
You have some other big things on your plate right now. With Actors Equity. Andy, you want to segue that?
Well, actually, we should let Michelle tell us exactly this position, because it has a lot of words.
There are some upcoming elections.
Upcoming equity election. Yes, I'm running for a principal council seat for the Eastern region, because that's where I am.
Right.
I've been in the union for 32 years, and because I was 4 when I joined it. Why are you laughing, Gail?
I believe every word of it.
4 and 20.
Toss. That's what.
4 and 10.
It was just for them to allow a child to join the union like that was really awesome.
It's funny how we defined children back then.
Yes.
Anyway. My husband doesn't realize. He's saying, "Isn't this early for?"
Hi, Tom.
You can come and say hi.
Hi, Tom Richter.
It's actually an interview.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you.
God, it's been a while. How are you, Andy?
We're doing good.
Good to see you.
I interview.
I have a past with Tom. That sounds bad. I have history with Tom. That sounds bad. I've known Tom for a long time.
I'm going to leave it at that. No.
All right. I'll let you guys back to your cocktails in.
Good to see you.
We should have had a cocktail scene. We probably would have remembered what we were trying to talk about.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So your position.
Anyway, yeah. So being in the union for all of these years, I am somebody that, I have very, strong opinions about things and feelings about things. And I just thought, rather than just run off the mouth and complain, and why is this happening? Why is that happening? I've decided that I need to be a voice. I need to be a voice. I also want to be a woman's voice in the room. And, given what's going on right now, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but if I'm elected, there's going to be a lot that is going to need to be shifted, reframed, maybe temporary, maybe permanent. I don't know. Yeah. But I think that a number of people that are running are going to be some really great new fresh voices for the union, and I think it's going to be really important. So we'll see what happens. I hope.
When's the election?
Let's see. The ballots were mailed out today, and I believe the election is next month.
Okay.
And it's all snail mail. So if there were people that are temporarily displaced and they didn't change their address, they're not going to get their ballot. So
I hope we get our ballots and can put you on it, because we're both equity and we want to vote for you. So
good. I'll do it. I'll take it. Yeah.
Everyone should vote for Michele Ragusa.
She's out there kissing babies.
Ragu for you.
I was going to say the big ragu. Ragu for you.
Ragu for you. Hashtag.
Of course, we're Laverne and Shirley babies, so that will always be special for us. What's the first restaurant you want to go to once you're out and can go to one safely?
Oh my heavens!
Doesn't have to be New York.
What are you craving?
Yeah, I was gonna say. You know what I was craving yesterday? Actually, was lobster.
Oh, wow!
That's Andy's favorite.
My favorite.
I'm craving. Like I could make one for myself, but you know, I don't know.
Wait. So Andy and I traveled to Maine a couple years ago, and we tootled around for a week, and we ate lobster everywhere, and we bought this little goofy lobster. His name is Lonnie. I don't know why he talks.
We bought him
like
in Canada, so we made him French.
That was it. Yeah, that's right.
In Canada.
But everybody kept telling us we were going to get sick of lobster, and it didn't happen.
No, that doesn't. It's like when you meet people that are like, yeah, I don't like lobsters. Like that's when people say like, I don't like chocolate, or I don't like.
Oh, silly.
I don't get it.
Oh,
I don't want to be your friend.
Lots
people always tell me that when they're like, well, you know, that's what they fed the convicts in Australia, and I thought, well, that makes it less exciting.
Oh, and I thought lucky convicts.
Arrest me in Australia, then. Yeah.
And we'll leave that at that.
Michelle, what's your fun go-to thing that is not theater related? Especially, maybe now. Like, what's one of your fun hobbies that you get to do because you're not working all the time?
Just said eating. Quiet down.
Hush you.
I'm getting heckled. What's happening? Knitting.
Oh.
I'm knitting. I finished a sweater for a friend that was supposed to be a Christmas gift. He got the sleeve. I wrapped the sleeve because that's all I had done. Finished a sweater, made a hat, made myself a poncho, just made my friend a doggy sweater for his dog.
Cute. I love it.
He gave me a book that you can actually make stuffed cats. So I think that's next.
There's
Did you teach yourself? Yeah, right. There is some sort of, but we'll avoid that. Next. Here, wait. Next. Did you teach yourself how to knit, or did somebody teach you?
Well, my mom was British, and when I was a kid, she used to knit a lot, and she would show me, and I like half-heartedly kind of figured out what she was doing. And then my first job when I moved to New York was a European tour of West Side Story, and somebody on the bus was a knitter. So I was like, I'm going to knit. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and I jumped back in. I didn't know what I was doing. And I must have gotten like the wrong size needles and probably the wrong gauge yarn. And I followed this pattern, and it would have fit like a 7-foot tall, 500-pound man. That was not who I was dating. If I need to clarify. So then I kind of put it aside. And then when I was in Urinetown, I was a standby. So Nancy Opal's a big knitter. And I thought, and I was with Tom then. So I was like, I'm going to make Tom a sweater for Christmas. So she helped me, and it kind of like reignited the whole thing. And, so now.
It wasn't for a 7-foot person.
No.
Nice.
7 foot, 500 pounds. Yeah. And then, we're doing gardening because it's nice out. We have 2 little tree stumps by the side of our house, and I've made little fairy gardens in there. We went to a nursery, and they sold a little wooden outhouse. So I bought that, and I bought like a little tiny, it looks like a big tree, but it's like little, I guess it's like for a terrarium. So I've just been like planting it down on the side. It's adorable.
It's cute. Well, I love it.
Michelle, thank you for taking time with us today.
Say exercise.
What's that?
No, none of it said. Wait, she said notice I didn't say exercise. I said no, none of us said exercise.
I'm exercising. I'm taking advantage. Anyway.
And he exercises.
I exercise. Anyway, thank you for being with us today, Michelle. Hey, it's so great to see you.
We are so.
What?
I'm so full.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to talk over you, Andy. Go ahead.
Oh, I was done. Thank you. We're excited to see you. It's been ages. I haven't seen you since Gypsy. I don't think. No, I did see you since Gypsy.
Oh, I saw you once before.
In New York.
From New York, yeah.
Yes. We had cocktails at, what do you call it? Up on 85th Street.
Again, what's it called? The place.
Coffee, French roast.
There we go.
French
roast. We remembered something, you guys.
That show is called Lady in the Dark.
Lady in the Dark.
Lady and the Tramp. I mean, Lady and the
Right.
Lady
that
in
dark
the
tramp.
Dark. Of course it is.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway, you've been so wonderful, and we will keep tabs on Flying Over Sunset and your nomination and everything from here. And have a great inside time. And bye, Tom. It was so good to see you.
Thank you so much for being part of our first 5 years.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
It was a joy. Have me back. I'm
available. We will. See you later.
Thanks, Michelle.
Well, that was a hoot. I just have to say, just quickly, that I knew Tom, her husband, before I knew her, because he was in the very first reading and New York Musical Theater Festival production of my show, But I'm a Cheerleader, the musical. Tom was in it. He played one of the Morgan Gordons, if you know the show or the movie. And so I'd always heard about
degree of separation.
Yeah, I'd always heard about Michelle, and then somebody said, they said, oh, she was Megan Mullally's. She came in after Megan Mullally and Young Frankenstein, which is one of her, one of Michelle's biggest credits. Yeah. And when we realized that we could get her to do Gypsy, we were over the moon.
Yeah, that was huge. So, we were like, what? She's coming in here.
So, thank you for joining us again today. We know that we're all in this crazy situation, and all arts groups.
We're getting there.
Need your support. And, we are under no, illusions that we should be getting all the money. But if you like these and you would like to donate anything to us, you can go to capitalcitytheater.org and hit the donate button and give us anything you want, and say thank you for these interviews. And we're going to be making some announcements soon about what's happening next season. Things are shifting, and we'll be letting you know about that soon.
And we have some thank yous. So thanks to Evan Lang for his great
catchy tune.
Our little catchy tune that he does for us, and
Beth
thank
Feltman,
you to
our
Beth
marketing
and Kaylee
person.
and Paul, right? Marketing and helping us produce these. So it certainly isn't just Andy and I. It takes a big team. So we're grateful.
So thank you all, and we will see you next time.
Okay.
All right. Bye.